And this year, they want to prove it wasn't just the coach. Jim Gray spoke with the Patriots quarterback.
Wake up, son!
In the past, you know, we were Bill Parcells' team, and that's where, you know, that's where the vocal leadership came from. And with Pete and his style, I feel like there's you know, some veteran players on this team, including myself, are going to be required to step up and take a little bit more of a role.
You bring up Bill Parcells. Are you trying to prove that this was more than Bill Parcells' team this year?
Well, you know, I think so. I think the players on this team want to prove that we can continue to win football games now that Bill is gone. And I think that everybody on this team realizes that Bill had a large impact on this team and was one of the main reasons that we won football games. But he wasn't the only reason that we won.
Well, there's no question about it. He's got this team in the right frame of mind. He's got them believing they're going to win every Sunday.
Did he get too much credit?
I mean, well, you know, that's the way it is in the league. The quarterback and the head coach are going to get too much credit, too much blame, and that's just the way it is. And so, yeah, he probably did get too much credit, but that's no different than any place else in the league. My relationship with Pete is great. It's just there's a lot of give and take in that relationship, where before it was just a lot of take.
In an interview which is going to air a bit later on in this program, Chris Collinsworth talks to Bill Parcells, and Bill tells him that the last time that you two spoke, you said to Bill that you really appreciated playing for him and you thanked him.
Yeah.
How come your public comments have been so much different than what you've told him privately?
Well, when I said that, it was on the field at Tulane. We were practicing for the Super Bowl, and I meant it, and I still do mean it. You know, I've always said that I'm proud to have played for Bill, but, you know, I think that the immediate reaction that I had was probably the same that a lot of players on the team had, and that it was just that, you know, how could he take off and leave after all that we've been through and done?
You gotta let me throw at it, Bill. You gotta let me throw. Huh? You gotta let me throw there.
What has Pete done specifically around practice, in the locker room, to change the atmosphere with the players and not have this motivation by fear, as has been explained by many of the Patriot players?
Well, you know, Pete is a more approachable guy. He's more positive than Bill. You know, Bill was a dictator, and you know, that's the way he coaches, and you know, it's Bill's way or the highway, and that's it. Pete is more approachable and more open to some ideas, but at the same time...
Meaningful things in that interview, a lot of things apparently from the heart. I find it hard to find fault with some of the things he said. You don't.
No, I really don't, because I don't think that Drew Bledsoe has any idea what Bill Parcells did for him, and that to me is the issue. I did the very first game that Drew Bledsoe, when he played for New England, Bill Parcells was his coach. He was an underclassman, he was young, he was green, he was a very nice kid. Bill has turned him into a tough, feisty, determined leader of a team that has a chance to win a Super Bowl, and Drew has no idea that Bill Parcells helped him get there.
Is that the way you see it, Joe?
I'll tell you what I disagree with? This underlying theme, I think, from Drew Bledsoe that, hey, now I got a coach I can relate to and all that. Hey, bull. What a player wants is somebody that can lead him, give him the tools around him, give him a defense, and let him win. That's what Bill Parcells did. And I tell you what, it happened to me when I left the Redskins. Now Rippon says, hey, I got a coordinator I can relate to. Hey, who cares about relating? And I'll tell you what, Pete Carroll, watch out. You lose a couple of games, some of these comments can be made about you. I don't like these comments.
Sam, what about Pete Carroll's style? How's that going to play?
Well, let me tell you, there are lots of styles that win. Everybody's got their own style. But it's easier to start tough and then soften as your team needs to be, rather than start as too much of a player's coach and then try to get tough. You know, as a general rule, percentage-wise, those that try to be too much a player's coach, they're the first to fail. The dictators tend to survive.
All right, guys, well, our Randy Cross will call the Patriots against the Chargers today in Foxborough. Randy, how do you see the change affecting Drew Bledsoe?
Well, you know, the Drew Bledsoe I talked to was very confident, kind of laid back, feet up on the desk, use the term we a lot. You know, this is our team. But, you know, from my standpoint, if this guy's so emotionally shackled the last 4 years, how did he pass for 14,000 yards, which is second only to Dan Marino? And, you know, what this guy needs is, I don't care if it's a designer tennis shoe from Pete Carroll or a steel-toed boot from Bill Parcells. If he does something wrong or loses his focus, somebody's got to kick him in the backside.
Randy, does it really matter whether a player likes his coach or not, as long as you appreciate what he's doing for you and the kind of guidance that he gives you?
Well, you know, I've loved all my coaches after I played for them, but while I was playing for them, you know, loving is not the first term that comes to mind. You've got to respect, in some cases, fear a guy, and in a lot of cases, you just want to flat out play for him. And the real thing in here in New England for Drew Bledsoe and the entire Patriots team is, you know, will they play for Pete Carroll?
All right, Randy, we love you too. We'll be back in just a moment.
Still to come, Bill Parcells talks to Chris Collinsworth about how things unraveled in New England.
On a beautiful 80-degree day in New England, a capacity crowd better than 60,000 turning out on opening day in Foxborough for the San Diego Chargers and the New England Patriots. Drew Bledsoe hoping to lead his team back to the Super Bowl, coming off the most productive season of his career, while Stan Humphries and his Chargers are seeking to bounce back from last season's disappointing performance. And we welcome you. Hi, everybody. Marv Albert with Randy Cross. You hear the wild ovation in the background. The AFC champion Patriots have just been introduced to the crowd, and the Pete Carroll era has begun. It is the low-key Carroll replacing the, would you say, more explosive Bill Parcells, Randy? So the pressure is obviously on Pete Carroll this season.
Well, it is. You know, he gets a lot of offensive toys, and you heard all about Bledsoe and Martin and everybody else on the offensive side of the ball. But defensively is where he'll make his biggest impact. But today he won't have Willie McGinnis, who's out with a bad hamstring. But it's always been a conservative defense here in New England. Pete Carroll will bring an attacking, blitzing, go-get-the-quarterback defense today.
And also a new head coach for the San Diego Chargers, Kevin Gilbride, taking over for Bobby Ross, who's now the new head man in Detroit. Gilbride with an injury-battered roster, though. That includes the absence of all-pro linebacker Junior Seau, who is out with a knee problem.
Well, obviously, that's a huge problem because the defense is built around Junior Seau. But for the Chargers and Kevin Gilbride's brand-new offense, the man is Stan Humphries. You got to protect this guy. You got to keep him off the ground. Heck, you got to keep him in the game. The Patriots knocked him out last year.
Right, last December 1st, Stan Humphries was pounded by these New England Patriots. So on this 31st day of August, opening day in the NFL, and we'll be back with the kickoff in a moment. Well, the last time the Chargers beat the Patriots, it was the Boston Patriots back in 1970. 8 straight wins for New England over San Diego. Patriots won the toss, receiving the kick from John Carney with Derek Cullors and Dave Meggett back. And it's Meggett with the return. Finding some running room, and then spun around across the 27-yard line. A look at the New England Patriot offensive unit. And this a offensive line slightly revamped from a year ago. All-Pro Bruce Armstrong with Max Lane. Dave Woolabaugh, bothered by an injured ankle, missed the last 2 preseason games, but he's in there. Zephros Moss, pickup from Detroit. Bledsoe, the quarterback. The All-Pro Curtis Martin with Keith Byers still playing for Gash. Sensational rookie Terry Glenn with the former Charger Sean Jefferson and Ben Coates. And the swing pass for Martin. And he works his way across the 30-yard line. Lou Bush, who is playing for the injured Junior Seau, making the stop with John Perella. And look at that San Diego front four. William Fuller, bothered by a sprained right knee, says it's sore, but giving it a shot up front with Perella, who is starting for the injured Reuben Davis. Lee and Coleman. Linebackers, a lot of shuffling here. Patrick Sapp getting the start with the veteran Govea. And Bush on the other side for Seau. Hopper and Shaw at the corners. Harrison and Dumas are the D-men. Sideline pattern for the first down and more. And that's reception number 1 on the season for Terry Glenn, who had 90 a year ago.
And so far, Marv, we've seen the 2 things nobody saw much of at all in the preseason. That's Martin and Glenn. And what Drew Bledsoe got on that play was excellent pass protection. If you let Drew Bledsoe sit back there, you play base defense, he is going to kill you. They've got to go after Drew Bledsoe, get in his face, and make him throw fall-aways.
And a first down for the Patriots at the 40-yard line. We are just underway. Back to the ground. And Martin has a short pickup. Curtis Martin last year ran for 1,152 yards. One of several young guns on this New England squad. Bledsoe at only 25 years of age. Curtis Martin at 24. Led the AFC with 17 touchdowns a year ago. And 23-year-old Terry Glenn. Curtis Martin. And Kurt Govea made the stop on the play. Both these teams, Randy, went 3 up and 1 down in preseason. Always tough to get a feel about preseason, but the Chargers lost their finale to Minnesota and committed a staggering number of penalties, 18. That would be a club record for the regular season. We were talking about it with Kevin Gilbride yesterday. He said the team was not emotionally or mentally ready for that game.
Not even close, Marv. And it looked like they didn't care. They just wanted to get out healthy.
Third down and 5. Bledsoe got the long look and able to loft it for Glenn. And Glenn is taken down inside the 20-yard line by Mark Montroy.
All right, class, any questions on why you don't want to let Drew Bledsoe sit back? He gets excellent protection. They flood that left side of the zone. And when you're letting Drew Bledsoe throw into a zone defense, that's exactly what you're going to get. You're going to get those skill guys like Glenn clearing the back end of a zone. And this quarterback can lob and drop them in there with the Aikmans and Marinos.
It is a 39-yard advance and another first down. Some running room for Martin. A good-looking series for the Patriots. Kurt Govea made the stop. You see Glenn, who limped off the field after that 39-yard hookup.
Boy, he's pulled down. If you see the end of the play here, watch how his leg gets trapped by Montroy. Just sort of drags him down, and he's holding on to anything he can. I mean, that's just a situation where the muscles and everything get kind of stretched out, and it's more one of those ouches than a real ouch.
Troy Brown in motion with Glenn on the sideline. And Bledsoe fires the middle and is able to complete. He has the tight end, Ben Coates, sandwiched between Rodney Harrison and Jaron Shaw. The ball placed just inside the 5. It sets up a first and goal.
Well, Ben Coates with 62 catches last year in 96, and I got to tell you, my guess is at least 2/3 in the red zone here. You get inside the 20-yard line, and Drew Bledsoe goes Coates, and then everybody else.
And how about the start by Bledsoe? 4 for 4, 62 yards. Now the handoff to Martin, and he is stopped at the line. You get the idea, a major part of the New England Patriots' motivation when you talk to the players is to show that they can succeed without the man who is coaching the New York Jets later today in Seattle, Bill Parcells.
So, you know, there's a song by the Eagles on their last album called Get Over It. I think these players need to get over it and get on with it and concentrate about playing for Pete Carroll. Well, that only motivates you so far.
They'll be meeting up in 2 weeks. 9th play of the drive. And Bledsoe with the jump pass that is off the mark, intended for Brown. Troy Brown in his 5th year out of Marshall led the Patriots in receptions in preseason with 8. He had 21 a year ago.
And that plays right into what we said earlier, Marv, about the fact that they didn't do much with Glenn. They didn't do much with Martin. It was very much kind of an under wraps talent-wise preseason for this Patriots team. And, you know, and we've seen so far he's used a little bit of everybody. They said 22 receivers caught balls in the preseason. Well, so far, the ones he cares about really have caught balls today.
And now Sean Jefferson is flanked to the left. Vincent Brisby in the slot. Brown in motion. Bledsoe with the look. Being chased. Throwing end zone. Touchdown. Ben Coates.
What I tell you about the red zone, Marv, I mean, they get down there and it's let's look at Coates. A grab, a push on both sides, a tug on both sides. That wasn't interference. That was mutual holding, and Coates came out on top.
A very impressive drive engineered by Drew Bledsoe. 5 of 6 for 66 yards. And Adam Vinatieri will attempt the extra point. 9 plays, 73 yards in 5 minutes. This crowd loves it. Opening day in Foxborough. And Drew Bledsoe and his Patriots have a 7-0 lead. It is a gorgeous day here in the New England area. Marv Albert with Randy Cross. A 7-0 lead for the New England Patriots. You see the drive, and we're told that is the first touchdown that has been scored in the NFL this season. Everyone else is scoreless.
And what a shock, Bledsoe to Coates.
Eric Metcalf, Ontario Rashall are back deep. Rashall, a rookie out of Fresno State who played for Amsterdam in the World League this past season. And the kick by Vinatieri. It's taken by Rashall. Out across the 15 as an opening to slow down and haul down across the 30-yard line. A 29-yard return.
The rarest type of football player, in my opinion, is a guy like Ben Coates right there that can read a defense. He reads the blitz, but more importantly, he can lock up and has the ability to separate. See that separation? He got away from the defensive back, and when he did that on Harrison, Bledsoe put the ball right there. That's invaluable to a quarterback to have a guy like that in the middle of the field.
Stan Humphries and the Chargers starting at the 32. Hit back behind the line by Todd Collins. Gary Brown, who sat out last year, had a weight problem, has made it back into the NFL. A look at the offensive line. This is a battered offensive line last season. Parker, Sienkiewicz, McKenzie, Davis, and Bertie. Quarterback is Humphries. Gary Brown in his 6th year out of Penn State with Aaron Craver. Tony Martin coming off a terrific all-pro season with Charlie Jones. And the tight ends, a rotation between Papino and Hartley. And Humphries with the deep throw intended for Martin. And the key matchup here will be Martin and Jimmy Hitchcock, the right corner, although we did see double coverage on that play. A look at the front four. Collins with Wheeler, Thomas, and Chris Sullivan, the local product out of Boston College, starting for the injured Willie McGinnis, out with that pulled hamstring. Slade, Johnson, and Collins, excellent linebackers. And in the secondary, you see Law with Hitchcock and Malloy in play, the deep end.
Stan Humphries in this offense don't want to test Ty Law very often, but they will repeatedly go after Hitchcock, especially when they anticipate man.
Third down play. Humphries able to avoid the rush. The catch was made out of bounds. It is incomplete. Tony Martin with the reception. But the punting unit will check in.
Well, it was a nice job by Stan Humphries and by Martin. Martin just can't quite make this catch, but it was one of the new patented zone blitzes. They dropped a defensive lineman, brought a blitz, got a zone. Humphries threw it to the right area, just not close enough to Martin.
All right, by way of Australia, here's Darren Bennett, who can bring rain with his punts, but at times will outkick the coverage. Megan has to backpedal for this one and decides to let it roll, and it is a beauty. Downed at the 3. What a punt. 67 yards, and the Patriots will have to start from their 3-yard line.
You all hear the term about zone blitz. Well, there's the blitz right here. Teddy Bruschi, Henry Thomas drops into coverage. It's a little chancy when you're talking about using a defensive lineman, but it's meant to confuse the quarterback. It flushes the quarterback, which causes the throw to be wrong. That's what disrupted Stan Humphries.
And the Patriots have to start from deep in their territory. Bledsoe buying some room by completing. Troy Brown, Kirk DeVea on the stop. Incidentally, that was a 66-yard punt officially by Darren Bennett, which equals a career high for Bennett. So Bennett with 66 yards punting, and Bledsoe prior to that play 66 yards passing. The Chargers without Junior Seau. They're hoping he'll return next week. Curtis Martin trying to make the cut, but could not.
Well, what this Charger defense needs out of somebody is that fire and that spark that Junior brings to this football team. There's nobody in the NFL that brings more emotion to his defense than Junior Seau. That's why he is so important, besides the obvious physical skills. You know, I don't know if it's Kurt Govea, I don't know if it's William Fuller, who's a new guy on the block. They've got to get some fire and some emotion, because they obviously did not have it on that first drive against the Patriots offense.
Govea, solid veteran, 2 Super Bowl rings from his days with the Redskins. A third down and 3. Nice out pattern completed to Martin, and he has a first down.
But there are a lot of great skill groups in the NFL, but I don't know if there's one better than the one they have here in New England. There's not really a weak link, especially when you're talking about transitioning between a Keith Byers, who's a great receiver / tight end type, and now you have Sam Gash for Pete Carroll, who's come back from this knee injury, who's one of the best lead blockers in the NFL. So this young man here, Drew Bledsoe, hard to believe, in his 5th year now, has got all the toys he wants at his disposal.
But the Patriots yet to establish a running game. 5 carries, only 8 yards for this man, Curtis Martin. They've been able to hold him in check. Well, the best way to follow the 1997 NFL season is to go online to NBCSports.com. Our very own Bob Trumpy gives us the 5 key things to look for in this weekend's games. Plus, you can vote in the weekly poll. And this week, the question is, which team do you think will have the most improved season? All on NBCSports.com. 7-0 Patriots by virtue of a good-looking opening drive engineered by Bledsoe, who rifled it. Incomplete, intended for the one-time Charger, Sean Jefferson, covered by the right corner, Terrence Shaw. The report on Terry Glenn, who limped off during that first series, apparently hurt his ankle. They've tried to retape it, and still no definitive word on what his status is. They are taping the ankle of the second-year man, Terry Glenn.
That's one of the dangers, too, of one of those trying to escape and being pulled down at the same time. Things get trapped underneath the defender's body.
6:15 remaining in this first quarter. It is a 3rd and 8. And Bledsoe's pass was tipped. Looked like Harrison got a piece of it. It was intended for Brisby.
Drew Bledsoe got very, very lucky throwing into that coverage right there. You know, I talked about earlier that lob and drop type pass. That needed to be a perfect about 30, 35-yard lob and drop, and it had a little bit too much zip and not enough drop.
Tom Tupa will punt to Eric Metcalf. Tom Tupa, who comes off an excellent season, one of the masters of the coffin corner kick. This one is straight away, and here comes Metcalf, trapped at the 35-yard line. A 55-yard punt of beauty and a 10-yard return. You are watching the NFL on NBC. We'll be right back. Back in Foxborough, 6 minutes, 2 seconds left. First quarter, Patriots with a 7-0 lead on the San Diego Chargers, trying to turn it from the disappointing 8-8 of a year ago. Did not make the playoffs. It's a team that played in the Super Bowl just 3 seasons back. 1st and 10 in their second series, and Gary Brown is stopped. Brown is stopped by the strong safety, Lawyer Malloy. But what with free agency and all the shuffling that is done these days in the NFL, a lot of changes. Just a couple of years ago, as I mentioned, this club in the Super Bowl. Here are the starters remaining.
You know, one of the things that happens today is Alfred Papunu, a very good receiver, doesn't start. But when you play in a Super Bowl like they did against my old team, the Niners, and get beaten that bad, a lot of doubts creep in. I think it's one of the major problems.
2nd and 8. And It was dropped by Brown, and a hard hit on Humphries. Took the shot from Todd Collins.
And took it high, Marv. That was not your basic get right in his chest type shot. Stan Humphries, a quarterback with a history of concussions, knocked out of the game last year against this same team. That was a forearm or hand into the face. I'm very surprised you didn't get a flag right there from the referee, Bernie Kukar, who was right on top of it.
Last December 1st, in one of the Patriots' best performances of the season, they walloped the Chargers 45-7. San Diego's worst loss of the year, and Humphries took a pasting. Out of the shotgun, he's still adjusting to the shotgun. And the play is blown dead. And just in case, Humphries is protected from Mark Wheeler.
Well, yeah, Bernie Kukar and Stan were the only ones that knew it was dead.
It is on the offense. That's the first penalty of the day.
Remember, they take care of the quarterbacks now. In the one area, the head. That was right. That's marginal, because that's a shot right up into the jaw of Stan Humphries. Guys have been fined this preseason around $20,000 for bringing that kind of action into a quarterback's head.
Humphries to this point, 0 for 3. It's a 3rd and 13. Look out. Down he goes again. First sack of the game. Mike Jones. In his 7th year out of North Carolina State, coming up with the sack.
Well, we told you that the Patriots were going to come after him with this new Pete Carroll defense. What you've seen is not so much Stan Humphries confused and having a problem. His teammates, his offensive line, who's had a problem all preseason, is really struggling with his pass defense scheme-wise.
Here's Bennett. And again, a good punt. Megan takes at the 12. Nice move. Oh, Megan with a beautiful return across the 30. How about a 64-yard punt by Bennett to follow up on the 66? And a 19-yard return by Megan. New England head coach Pete Carroll, one-time head coach of the New York Jets, and following Bill Parcells, who certainly rejuvenated this franchise.
Well, Phil Bankston for Vince Lombardi, George Seifert for Bill Walsh, Ray Hanley for Bill Parcells, Barry Switzer for Jimmy Johnson. Those have been the changes so far, but this is the first time a losing team from a Super Bowl has ever changed their coach the year after.
And Randy with excellent use of the telestrator.
Oh, I got great fingers. I can draw on that thing.
It is a 1st and 10 for Bledsoe, who is continuing the hot hand, completing with the one-time Charger Sean Jefferson. Picking up 15 yards. Wayne Hopper on the stop. A look around the NFL on this opening day. Dallas and Pittsburgh scoreless. Miami with a 3-0 lead late in the first. Giants 7-zip over the Philadelphia Eagles. Minnesota 3-0 over Buffalo. Tennessee still sounds strange, leading Oakland 3-0. Terry Glenn is back on the field. Here's Curtis Martin. Big hole for Martin, and brings to the marker Rodney Harrison. Made the stop, and the best run of the day for Martin.
Well, watch the hesitation, not only from the offensive line, but in the backfield. Sort of a sprint hesitation draw. And that just threw the timing off of the defense. A little added on pretty good blocking, but that's what Curtis Martin adds. He worked with a sprint coach this year on his initial burst, and that's exactly what you saw.
An advance of 9, 2nd and about a yard. Play action. And there's the first down. Sam Gash hearing it from the crowd off his first reception. Hit out of bounds by the free safety, Michael Dumas, and that's good for 19.
Yeah, I mentioned what a great lead blocker this guy is, but more importantly, he's a well-rounded fullback. People forget about the fact of what a good receiver he is and what he has done for this offense for just that extra added weapon. The guy that can lead block and pound you and split you between the eyes, but by the same token, get out there and catch the passes.
Sam Gash back from the knee injury, missed the final month of last season. It is a first down at the 25. Off the play fake, Bledsoe with the time, fires, touchdown! Terry Glenn, who had returned 2 plays back, beating Terrence Shaw and beating him cleanly.
Marv, I need to get myself a little of that magic tape they just get that ankle up with, because obviously it works. Yeah, that tells you something. You can see the little hitch in his get-along getting off the field, but if you can limp your way to a touchdown, that means you got a little bit in your tank.
Seems to be limping even more as he heads off the field. Was not limping as he went out for that pass. And Vinatieri will attempt the extra point. A red-hot start for Drew Bledsoe. 10 of 13, 136 yards. And he's thrown for 2 touchdowns. Terry Glenn, 3 receptions, 73 yards.
And what we're seeing here is one of the things that the San Diego Chargers came into this really dreading. And that's what I talked about earlier, is an unmolested, untouched, unhurried or phased Drew Bledsoe. He sits there. You see a quarterback like Bledsoe sitting in the pocket with that little bounce, that bounce, throw. You got misery coming, and that misery is coming in bushels. And now let's see. We saw the limp going off the field. Let's see if we can catch a limp anywhere in this route. Working here against the third-year cornerback Terrence Shaw. Not a limp in that. I guess the limp is only it's kind of like a Ferrari. When it's at low speed, it lags a little bit. When it goes to full speed, it goes.
I never quite thought of it that matter.
Hey, but look at Drew Bledsoe's uniform. It's clean. If it's still clean after the half, you're talking Christians and Lions. They got to get on this guy.
Well, that's what William Fuller told us yesterday. The coaches said to the defensive unit, if Bledsoe's uniform is clean at halftime, we're in big trouble. And the return by Metcalf, able to avoid a couple of tacklers, but good coverage by the Patriots, led by that touchdown drive, a quickie by the Patriots. 4 plays, 67 yards in 2 minutes and a second.
And, goals are important. You don't want to get too far ahead of yourself. You're in San Diego. Right now, it's 8 first downs for New England, 0 for Stan Humphries and the Chargers.
And Humphrey is also beginning to feel it from the pressure by New England. And that is broken up, nearly picked off. Todd Collins had a shot at it. A strong side linebacker, Todd Collins, had it deflect off his hands, and Humphries 0 for 4 here at the start.
Well, one thing about Stan Humphries, he's incredibly tough. In my opinion, he gets way too many chances or opportunities to show how incredibly tough he is. He will step into a hit.
What do you make of the story, though, last year? Some teammates saying that he was looking to get out of the game. Terrell Fletcher is stopped. Basically claiming that he was faking a concussion, which is unbelievable to hear about a guy like Stan Humphries.
Well, I take that personally as basic ignorance off a team that made a coaching change and it had a losing year. Hey, look at the injuries this guy's had, and then look at how many games he's missed. We're not talking about sprain, dislocated left shoulder, dislocated left elbow, a couple concussions. They don't come any tougher than this guy.
It's a 3rd down and 6 from the 24. New England 14-0 over San Diego. Oh, he's ripped again, but able to complete to Fletcher. And Fletcher works his way across the 40 for a first down. The rookie from Kansas State, first-round draft pick Chris Canty on the stop, and that's good for a 17-yard pickup.
What did I just tell you, Marv? This is a tough guy that will step into a hit. Teddy Bruschi is coming, and Stan Humphries steps right into the linebacker 54, Bruschi, into his face. He could have fallen away. He could have thrown a high jumper fall away to his receiver, but no, he stood there and took the shot and got the completion.
And it's the first down of the day for San Diego, and a timeout has been taken. Timeout called by the Patriots. No, Yes, apparently the Patriots took the timeout, and you can see Humphries bleeding from the lip.
Oh, yeah, I mean, we're not coming over here to talk protection because there hasn't been a whole lot of it so far. We're letting the trainer get over here and do some work on Stan Humphrey. I mean, he doesn't have a headset on. He's not talking to a coach. This is pure maintenance. You need to drop a bag of ice on the guy's neck and get some circulation going because he can't survive this kind of a beating. Kevin Gilbride came into this game worried about the protection he was going to be able to get for his quarterback, Stan Humphries.
Randy, we're talking about that rout last season, a Sunday night game between the Patriots and the Chargers. The Patriots with a 45-7 victory over San Diego. In that game, Drew Bledsoe threw for 4 touchdown passes. Bledsoe was on fire. 8-yard connection with Terry Glenn. This on the game's opening drive, so he began quickly as he has today. And the Patriot defense forced 6 turnovers, including this second quarter fumble forced by Chris Slade and recovered by Willie McGinnis in the end zone. That was back on December the 1st last season. A minute 8 remaining in this first quarter and a 1st and 10 for San Diego. Quick release by Humphries, able to complete to the tight end Frank Hartley, who was stopped by Chris Slade. Last season, Slade wound up in a platoon situation for the final 5 games and was not very pleased about it. Bill Parcells felt that he would rather shuffle Chris Slade, and Chris has made his opinions known.
And enough sour grapes to make a heck of a sized bottle of bad wine.
2nd down and 5, and this is Gary Brown. We were talking with Gary yesterday, had a long conversation. It was back in November of '96. He was up to 262 pounds. We pointed out to him he's now a shell of his former self. He's down to 219.
What did he do? So what'd you do? Sat around and watched TV. I mean, he sat around, watched TV, watched football, and his favorite food was Philly cheesesteak sandwiches. Right. He said, I was a junkie on Philly cheesesteak sandwiches. That's an easy way to get to 262.
He was on a steady cheesesteak diet. Sat out last season. And he is part of a huge overhaul in the backfield for the Chargers. Their general manager, Bobby Beathard, doing much shuffling, as you can see.
Well, ever since the disappointing divorce/split between Natron Means and the Chargers organization, they have been unable to run the ball. By committee, by chance, by anything.
By chance. Final seconds of the quarter, and Brown is stopped, but a penalty marker is down. Bruschi on the tackle. Gary Brown with that unusual contract. If he gains 1,000 yards, he will receive a $1 million bonus. And Bobby Beathard said that's one bonus that he would like to be able to pay. Offside called on the Patriots. The official game clock showing 0, that the first quarter has run out, but they will get one more play in. The quarter will not end on a penalty.
You talk about Gary Brown too, Mark. Remember, this is the guy in 1993, like 8 games, 1,000 yards. And he's got the potential, but we know how scary that one word in the English language is, of potential.
And that one excellent year, Kevin Gilbride was in Houston at the time. Well, it was dropped by Freddie Jones, or rather Frank Hartley, the tight end. And that will conclude this first quarter. Patriots up 14-0. Welcome back to Foxborough. Marv Albert with Randy Cross. New England with a 14-0 lead on San Diego.
And this right here, 23 yards. Stan Humphries will not survive 3/4 of this football game if they can't start getting something out of the running game and protecting him, so at least the pass stats can go up. 23 yards in a quarter. I mean, that's a good play, much less a good 15 minutes.
It is a 2nd down and 5 as the second quarter gets underway. San Diego back to the offense. And a hole did develop for Brown. And Brown has has a first down. Sullivan with the stop. Let's check in with Greg Gumbel in New York. Greg?
All right, Marvin, we'll take you to Memphis, where the Tennessee Oilers are having a good time so far. 3rd and 23. Watch Steve McNair with a rifle shot, 48 yards to Chris Sanders, who has his man beaten with the extra point. The Oilers with a 10-0 lead on the Raiders. It's just starting the second quarter, Marv.
Oilers playing in Memphis will eventually make the move to Nashville, Tennessee. It is a first down for the Chargers at the New England 36. 14-0 Patriots. Humphries with a punt for Tony Martin. That's the first catch by Martin. He's looked for Martin now on 3 occasions. This time he was covered by Ty Law, the left corner.
Well, you know, look what these last couple of first down plays do, though, Marv. I mean, going into this drive, they're averaging like a little over 1 yard a play on first down. You get a first down. Now you pick up a good solid 5 yards. Now Kevin Gilbride can look at his play sheet, and he's got something to call that he's not worried about keeping number 12 on his feet.
And a pickup of just a yard. 2nd and 4. Look out. Humphries stripped of the ball by Henry Thomas. And Thomas with the recovery. Henry Thomas, who spent 8 years with the Minnesota Vikings, the last 2 at Detroit. He's put up impressive sack numbers over the years, a 2-time Pro Bowl player, and he's able to get to the quarterback.
Henry Thomas coming from Stan Humphries' left. I don't care where he's played, Marv. His signature, and when I played against him, the same thing. He is incredibly quick. Not the biggest defensive lineman. Look at him jump through the gap, quick swim. And is that a blown assignment up front for the offensive line or what? Why don't you just sort of hang a piece of meat around your quarterback's neck and say, okay, dogs, go at it. I mean, give me a break. You got to protect him.
All right, Bledsoe able to avoid the pursuit and dives his way to the 45-yard line.
Head first.
And they are chanting Drew, who is not known for his agility.
Yeah, I don't know if this is a lope. You know, a guy like Steve Young, Mark Brunell, they run. Drew Bledsoe lopes down the field, and he sees contact coming. Honestly, I'm very surprised he went head first there. That's something I get on the sideline and say, Drew, you're great. I love you, babe. You ran good. Slide next time.
He did lope for 4 yards, though. 2nd and 6. And this time off the fake, Curtis Martin finds the hole and has a first down.
Now, what a great contrast. You want to see a non-loper? Like we have interlopers, and now we have a non-loper. This is a non-loper. Look at Curtis Martin in that initial burst, gets him outside, sees the hole, and that's where that work with the sprint coach is really starting to show. That and that quick jiggle and wiggle he can get these defenders to help him miss.
Randy carrying the thesaurus with him at all times. It is a first down at the 46-yard line. With 3 minutes in, second quarter. Patriots 14, the Chargers nothing. Second back coming through. Martin trying to go to the outside and could not. Dwayne Harper had him strung out. A reminder, coming up next on most of these NBC stations, game 2 of our NFL doubleheader. Most of you will see John Elway and the Denver Broncos go up against the Kansas City Chiefs. Others will check out the Seattle Seahawks against a fellow by the name of Bill Parcells and the New York Jets, or the Jacksonville Jaguars playing the Baltimore Ravens. We suggest you check your local listings for the game in your area. 2nd and 8 from the San Diego 44-yard line. Again, the play fake, and again Bledsoe with an open man. Then Coates through tackles gets inside the 10.
Now this was something created by confusion and by formation for Pete Carroll's offense. Look at Coates starts in motion. The defense does not handle it. He gets sort of lost in space. When you're chasing and you're playing defense, you are asking for a world of hurting. And right there, The chaser in question was Michael Dumas, the free safety, chasing down Ben Coates.
That's good for 37 yards and a 1st and goal at the 9. Again, Coates in motion. Bledsoe facing the rush, and that time he threw it away. And that was a dangerous throwaway.
It really was. I mean, Ray Lee Johnson got right in his face, and that's the first time the defense has really pressured him and come into him. I mean, really. I mean, there haven't been near him so far. Ray Lee Johnson coming from the right side, right bottom there. Uncontested. Anytime a back tries to block a defensive line, he should be uncontested. Gets in on the quarterback, and, you know, they'd have had to check his picture in the program to see what he looked like before that play.
Ray Lee in his 5th year out of Arkansas. 2nd and goal from the 9. Here's the pitch. Martin. Change of direction. Picks up the blocker. Squeezes his way through. Oh, what a move by Martin. The block was thrown by Bledsoe.
That was, I don't even call that a block. Usually it's a screen by a quarterback, but remember, you're talking about a guy 6'6", about 235 pounds, and this is a breakdown on the backside. Watch Ray Lee Johnson and the defense slide with Martin. He cuts back. There's nobody there, but watch number 11, Bledsoe, right there on Ray Lee Johnson. It was a half a decleater. A full decleater, they go off, but he got one set of cleats off the ground.
3rd and goal at the 3. Bledsoe, he was hit from behind, and the pass came up short. Ben Coates was in the area. Lou Bush all over Drew Bledsoe.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. Lou Bush and this defense need more of those shots on Drew Bledsoe. He's getting a big hand, a big group Drew out of the crowd for throwing that block, but you have to attack this offense. Lewis Bush was the attacker on that one.
And with a 4th and goal at the 3, 21-yard field goal attempt for Adam Vinatieri, 2nd-year man from South Dakota State. Finished very strong last season. Final 10 games, missed only 1 field goal try under 50, and cleanly puts this one through. We are early 2nd. New England has extended its lead. Adam Vinatieri getting sent to kick it off to the combination of Laterio Rashall and Eric Metcalf. The Patriots with a 17-0 lead. And Metcalf with the return. This time trying the far side of the field, and a penalty marker is down. Chris Canty able to run Metcalf out. 30-yard return. And as you see, the call against the Chargers.
Here we go, block in the back. Number 53 on the return team on the run back. It's a 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
That's the backup linebacker, Michael Hamilton, on the penalty.
Remember that 3rd down play where Bledsoe was blitzed? Watch Ben Coates here. Remember on his touchdown earlier, he had a little run-in with Rodney Harrison. He got away for a touchdown. He ain't getting away that time. Harrison says, call me for holding, but Ben ain't leaving me.
It is a 1st down of the 15-yard line for the Chargers. Front line of Parker, Sienkiewicz, McKenzie, Davis, and Bertie. And here they come again. Humphries got it away, and it was dropped. Dropped by Papunu, who should have had it.
Yeah, Papunu didn't start. Alfred was held out. He's been hobbled by a knee this preseason. Got the perfect opportunity to just get a little something, a little positive note, a little 1st down, some room for Stan Humphries, and they need it.
Yeah, this is a guy with good hands, known for the soft touch. Very upset with himself, as you can see.
Oh, that stat there, that's not like 1st down or a down. They're averaging less than 2 yards a play.
2nd and 10 at the 15. 9.5 remaining. 1st half. Off the draw. Metcalf. Eric Metcalf stopped by Henry Thomas. Check that Fletcher, the ball carrier, Terrell Fletcher. There he is, number 41, in his third year out of Wisconsin. Noted more for his pass-catching abilities.
And one of Bobby Beathard's choices where he gave up a future draft pick to get a hold of this young man.
It is a third down and 6 at the 19. Here they come. Oh, nice catch. Charlie Jones, as Humphries was facing the blitz, able to come up with his first reception. It's good for 16 yards.
So one of the things defensive backs like about the zone blitz philosophy is they get to face the quarterback. The important part of this for the Chargers is Stan Humphries saw what was going on, and when he looked up to Charlie Jones, it was Charlie Jones that was facing the quarterback, gave him that great target to throw to.
Charlie Jones, 41 receptions as a rookie a year ago. 1st and 10 at the 35-yard line, and Gary Brown not able to get much going. Stopped by Lawyer Malloy. Mentioned that one superb season in Houston that Brown had back in 1993, averaged 5 yards per carry. That was when Kevin Gilbride was offensive coordinator, but had the problems with his weight, which set him back. Does have the weight down, and is now in the starting lineup for the Chargers. Humphries just fires one with not a teammate in sight.
Well, somebody zigged and he was thinking zag. You know, what you saw at the end of that play, too, is Stan Humphries throws the ball and he's like drawing. You know, you talked about me drawing on the telestrator. Watch Stan do a little virtual drawing of his own after this one. Well, no, I was going to... No, it's there and over. I got you.
Looked like one of our production meetings.
That's right.
It's a 3rd and 8 at the 37. Out of the shotgun. Humphries could not find anyone, and then made the adjustment, and it is ruled incomplete. Scooped up by Martin, who was covered by Hitchcock.
And right now, they're making Stan Humphries move, but he's finding receivers. It's one thing he doesn't get the credit he deserves on his ability to... He's kind of like Dan Marino in that he doesn't really run around a pocket. He shuffles around a pocket till he can find a receiver. And, you know, Tony Martin, that was a tough one, but if you're in a situation down 17-zip, that's a catch you make.
Like Marino in terms of style.
Well, I like Marino in that he's not a real threat to run real far.
And here's Bennett kicking to Megan. And Megan reaching out to the 29-yard line, a 45-yard punt, and a 12-yard return. And now Stan Humphries explaining that play to Kevin Gilbride.
Back to Foxborough, while you're away, Stan Humphries sort of explaining things / pleading his case, and then Gilbride walks away. Look at this. He's, no, Coach, I'm not done. Hold on. Come on back. No, come on. Gilbride says, talk to Carney here, the kicker. Maybe he wants to hear it. Yeah, he's not done either. Look at him. Find a lineman. They'll nod their head and agree with you.
First half possessions, punt, fumble, punt. That's been the story for the Chargers, who are down 17-0. Curtis Martin making a bit more out of that. That looked to be trouble. The pass thrown in traffic. A tackle made by Lou Bush. Lou Bush, a player who has handled a major burden, asked to learn the assignments for all 3 linebacker positions for the week, and is starting for Junior Seau. And Bush, number 58, will come in and make the stop.
Well, and he substituted last year when Junior was out with his injuries last year, so it's not the first time. But, you know, a guy like this deserves better. He deserves his own position. And trying to fill shoes like Junior Seau's, those are size 37s.
Last year, Lou Bush had his best season in the NFL. Ben Coates on the reception has a first down. Running it to the 45-yard line, taken down by Rodney Harrison. 4th catch of the day, 48 yards, including a touchdown for Coates.
So often you want to be sure that tight end cannot get free off the line of scrimmage. That was a zone blitz where the linebacker came, Marco Coleman, number 90, the defensive end, trying to get a shot on him. and it didn't quite work out. There's Carl Smith with the glasses and hat on backwards, the offensive assistant head coach and quarterback coach checking out his work.
Curtis Martin with the hurdle move. And hit by Rodney Harrison. A reminder, next Saturday, 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Notre Dame football returning to NBC. Ron Powlus and the Fighting Irish taking on Georgia Tech in the season opener as a new era of Golden Dome football will get underway. That's Notre Dame next Saturday, 2:30 Eastern, here on NBC.
In the new and improved Notre Dame Stadium. And an opponent in Georgia Tech, if you don't know much about them, play defense. They're a good, tough team, a good challenge for the Irish.
A little scouting report from Atlanta.
Oh, yeah.
Randy Cross, second down and 6. And the swing pass clicks with Martin. Short of the first down by about 1.5 yards. Right defensive tackle Sean Lee on the stop. Capacity crowd better than 60,000 here on opening day in Foxborough. The New England Patriots with just under 5 minutes remaining in the first half, jumping in front by the count of 17-0. A red-hot start for Drew Bledsoe. 14 of 19, 190 yards, and he's thrown for 2 touchdowns. Junior Seau sitting it out for the San Diego Chargers, obviously a key injury, while the Patriots without right defensive end Willie McGinnis. And there is Bledsoe lofting one, and it is caught. Caught by Sean Jefferson on a timing pattern. He was inbounds, able to maintain possession inbounds to pick up 37 yards.
Now, you mentioned Sean Jefferson being an ex-Charger during his stay in San Diego. He was a receiver known to make some catches, but he also dropped too many. If he caught more of these, he'd still be in a Chargers uniform. And he's getting a ball thrown perfectly by Drew Bledsoe. Remember those sort of drop balls? That couldn't be thrown any better. Dropping it outside the outside shoulder and outside number. I mean, Terrence Shaw does a nice job of covering him. He just didn't have a chance. Perfect execution.
And out of the other side for the touchdown, Sam Gash. Reached the point, Randy, offensively, the Patriots are just toying with the Chargers.
Well, you know that the term dictating a game, you know, Pete Carroll's offense right now is dictating to the defense of the Chargers what they want to do. Right now, with 3 minutes and 51 seconds in the second quarter left, up soon to be 24-0, there is very little wrong in Pete Carroll's world and very little right in Kevin Gilbride's.
6 plays, 70 yards, 3.5 minutes for that drive. Vinatieri extends to the 24-0 lead. Bledsoe, 16 of 21, 237 yards in this first half. Well, for Sam Gash, his first touchdown since he sustained that injury last season, and the previous touchdown in that rout over the San Diego Chargers. And this is Eric Metcalf on the kick return. Across the 20. And hauled down by Larry Wiggin. Let's take another look at that Bledsoe 12-yard touchdown pass to the fullback, Sam Gash.
Watch the confusion. You'll see the Gash come out this way. Watch the confusion in the defensive backfield for the Chargers. I said dictation. Well, they're dictating what they're doing, but if you don't read the offensive properly and you don't execute your defense, it all goes for naught. And right now, like I said, there's not much wrong in Pete Carroll's world.
Pete Carroll in his first game as head coach of the Patriots, taking over from Bill Parcells, who will be debuting with the New York Jets officially later today against Seattle. Good coverage on Charlie Jones. Ty Law, the left corner, was right up on him.
Yeah, there's one player we've heard little or nothing from, Martin, in this game so far for San Diego on offense. We've seen him return a kick or so. Is Metcalf. You know, where is Metcalf? You made this big deal free agency doing him. You hear the same things about Eric Metcalf in San Diego. You heard about him in Atlanta. You heard about him in Cleveland. You know, we got to figure out a way to get this guy into the ballgame. Well, the first thing to do is to get him on the field. then you figure out how to get the ball to.
We were talking about this with the coaches yesterday. Had a very quiet pre-season. That's been his style. This is Terrell Fletcher. But you also get the idea they were not pleased about what they saw in preseason, because the plan was to use him in a slot formation, but now they're saying that Charlie Jones is the slot receiver.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin Gilbride is a coach with a history of, you know, the run and shoot, the multiple receiver offense. It should be a perfect marriage, him and his offense. There's obviously a situation where Metcalf does not fit in right now adequately as far as Kevin Gilbride is concerned.
3rd and 2. 2:20 left in the first half. Humphries with the bullet, ruled incomplete, a diving attempt made. Tony Martin not able to hang on. They've done a good job in the first half on Tony Martin, who last year made the Pro Bowl, 85 receptions, dramatically cut down on his drops.
And really put the big play into the offense for the Chargers. And I mean big. When that guy got it, he went all the way for 6.
4th punt of the day by Darren Bennett. And here's Dave Meggett. Across the 30, 40, midfield. Beautiful return by Meggett. 34-yard return on a 50-yard punt. Aaron Craver on the stop. You are watching the NFL on NBC. In Foxborough moments ago, standing ovation for Dave Meggett. 302 career punt returns. He is the all-time leader in the NFL, past Tim Brown, who has relinquished the Raider punt return duties to Desmond Howard. Dave Meggett back with the Patriots, although there was some question in the offseason as to whether he would re-sign. Curtis Martin gets the carry. John Peretta, the left defensive tackle, on the stop. And with 1:59 remaining, we officially receive the 2-minute warning. We'll take a break. The Domino's Pizza NFL on NBC halftime report. Greg Gumbel, Joe Gibbs, Sam Weish, Chris Collinsworth, with all the scores and highlights of today's action around the league. And NBC News will have more on the tragic death of Princess Diana. 1:59 to go in the first half here in Foxborough. And the New England Patriots with a 24-0 lead on the San Diego Chargers. 3 touchdown passes thrown by Drew Bledsoe. A 4-yard score to Ben Coates, 25-yard toss to Terry Glenn, and a 12-yard throw to Sam Gash, plus a 21-yard field goal by Adam Vinatieri, accounting for the score.
You go in at halftime and you're Pete Carroll. You were looking at your guys and they're looking at you. You got to kind of shrug and say, I don't know what to tell you guys. You've done everything right so far.
2nd and 4. And Bledsoe completes to Vincent Brisby. 24-yard hookup. Michael Dumas on the stop. And the good play continues. Perhaps more to come before they head to the locker room.
Well, you wanted an exhibition of another weapon. You've seen the speed of Glenn, the power of a Ben Coates. Here's a big receiver in Brisby doing what he's supposed to do, use his speed and size to catch the ball over the middle.
Vincent Brisby missed most of last year with a hamstring injury, did not catch a pass all of last season. And Troy Brown running the sideline pattern, run out by Mark Montroy. Bledsoe certainly mixing him up, hitting all his receivers in this first half.
And really, from a defensive standpoint for the Chargers and Kevin Gilbride's team, he's looking at a Patriots team led by Drew Bledsoe and Pete Carroll, and just has to shake his head. There's no amount of paper in the world that it can give you enough space to draw up what's gone wrong so far for them in the first half. They need to start with little things, like first down.
2nd and 2 with 1:14 left. Look out. Saw the movement and the flags.
Let's add staying on sides to first downs.
Encroachment. Number 98 on the defense. That's half the distance to the goal, resulting in a first down.
And that's the right defensive tackle, Sean Lee. Well, Third Rock from the Sun is moving from its usual Sunday time to Wednesdays beginning on September 17th with a special 1-hour episode. Third Rock making the move to Wednesdays this fall here on NBC. And the play is blown dead.
As funny as that show is, Third Rock, Marv, it couldn't make Kevin Gilbride smile right now.
Timeout has been taken. When we resume, it's a 1st and goal inside the 5. Kevin Gilbride also is a local product, a native of nearby New Haven, Connecticut. This is his first game ever as a professional head coach. Kevin, the offensive coordinator for Jacksonville the past 2 years, a one-time quarterback and tight end for Southern Connecticut State, coached in New England at Tufts University. There he is, a youthful-looking Kevin Gilbride. He was linebacker coach at the time at Tufts back in '77, and also coached at his alma mater, Southern Connecticut State, in the early '80s. Said that he had to gather up about 150 tickets for today. You can see the San Diego hats here in the crowd at Foxborough. Members of the Gilbride party.
And where the Gilbride party is sitting, I'm surprised they're not also equipped not only with face paint but oxygen masks. Yes. They're up there a little ways. But you know, we talked about earlier distributing the pass to all the weapons and toys of Drew Bledsoe's. I mean, you know, I don't know what to tell you here. It just doesn't get any more consistent than right that. He's spreading it around. Coates is number 1. Martin out of the backfield, number 2. Martin's running the ball. Heck, Bledsoe's loped a couple times himself.
It's a 2nd and goal from about 2.5 yards away. Bledsoe on a quick pitch, touchdown. A wide open Keith Byers.
Another example of how maturing this process is for Drew Bledsoe. He's reading blitzes. He's staying in there. He throws a touchdown pass there to Byers while being pressured by Govea and gets it to him running backwards. Throws a 20-yard pass, sprinting the other direction.
So you can add the name Keith Byers to the list of pass receivers. Keith Byers in his 2nd season with New England after 3 years with Miami and then 7 seasons with the Philadelphia Eagles. He's been the starter at fullback because Sam Gash just making his way back from the knee injury, although Sam has played today and played well. And I tell you, for a head coach making his debut, I don't think it could be any worse than what Kevin Gilbride is facing in this first half. You know, guys, the night before games try to visualize what will happen, and this is not what you're thinking about. It's just gotten away, obviously, with a 31-0 lead now for New England. This one actually got away in the early moments.
It really did. I mean, it's a team decimated by injuries, specifically on defense. Has looked like a team that's been decimated by injuries on defense. Without their emotional leader in Seau, their physical leader in Seau, they look confused. They look lost on defense. A lot of that's a new scheme, and a lot of that is the talent of that guy right there, Bledsoe, the toys at his disposal, and how confused it can make people feel.
On the other hand, could it be any better for Pete Carroll, a man taking over under pressure for Bill Parcells, who led this New England franchise to an appearance in the Super Bowl, and here they open up with a 31-0 lead at the half. Rashall with the return. And taken down across the 25, but a penalty marker has been tossed. The Patriots, 6 possessions, accounting for 4 touchdowns, 1 field goal, and 1 punt. And the call against the New England Patriots. It's a face mask, personal foul. Wow. And it's called on Vernon Crawford.
That's exactly what you were just talking about, Marvin, and what they have done with that lone punt. You know, Pete Carroll, like you said, he lay in bed, I'm sure, last night. No matter what he said about not being nervous, no big deal. He had to have a lot of trouble sleeping. This was about 30% above best-case scenario for Pete Carroll.
30%?
Oh, I'd say 30. 30. They haven't been everything perfect. They have punted. They had a face mask.
31 seconds remaining in the first half. And Humphries goes down. Actually, it appeared that he was able to get away from Mike Jones and then lost his balance. So that's the third sack of the day for New England. Second for Jones.
And the reason that's a sack, obviously, Marv, that Jones had his hands on him, would have appeared to got away, but it was that reverse momentum that was imparted by the D lineman that caused him to fall down.
We're down to 15 seconds in the half, and the play is stopped. Flag tossed.
We got a false start. Number 75 on the offense, moving prior to the snap. By rule, we will also take 10 seconds off the clock.
That's the right tackle, Tony Birdie. Earlier, we were discussing the penalty difficulties of the Chargers in their final preseason game of the loss to Minnesota. 18 penalties in all, which upset the coaching staff. I think they were upset about that.
Yeah, wait till they see this one. This could take 8 hours to watch this tape.
So they removed 10 seconds on the game clock. We're down to 4 seconds left in the half, and that'll do it as Fletcher spins. He fumbles, and it's recovered by the Patriots, but time has run out. They try to take a quick timeout, but that is it for the first half. All New England, 31-0 lead. Stay tuned for Greg Gumbel of the Domino's Pizza halftime report after these messages from your local station. Cross, a 31-0 rout by the Patriots over the Chargers at halftime. Randy, it could not get any better for new head coach Pete Carroll of the Patriots. Could not get any worse for new head coach Kevin Gilbride and his Chargers.
Well, it was all about execution and emotion. The Patriots have had the execution. They've had the emotional edge. The Chargers have had no emotion, and really execution-wise, I'd vote yes.
And a look at the Coors Light halftime stats. All New England, only 4 first downs for San Diego. 4 touchdowns thrown by Drew Bledsoe. And it is Rashall on the kick return. Mario Greer, backup running back, on the stop as this third quarter gets underway.
Yeah, I talked about the emotion of the Patriots, and the Patriots defense is on the field, and who leads that defense? Pete Carroll. And you want to see an illustration of the difference between Parcells and Pete Carroll? Look at him, second-year linebacker Teddy Bruschi caused that fumble at the end of the first half. Going in at halftime, he's slamming and hitting him and yelling at him, and he ain't done. I mean, that gives you an idea. That is when coaches are referred to as players' coaches. That's a positive illustration of that.
And here's Terrell Fletcher, who has been getting the call. Gary Brown was ineffective in the first half. Teddy Bruschi made the stop. So we're just getting started in the third quarter. The New England Patriots with a 31-0 lead. It'll be a second down and 3. You see Humphries 5 for 14, 48 yards. Bledsoe may be on his way to a career day. Humphries in trouble again and try to shovel it. And it goes as an incomplete pass. Again, the pressure from Mike Jones, who had 2 sacks in the first half.
Well, you talked about right there, you know, that Gary Brown was ineffective. I got to put a lot of this on that offensive line. The holes have not been there for the running game, and for the passing game, he has not gotten the protection he needs. Stan Humphries deserves a lot better than what he's getting out of those 5 guys up front right now.
Let's park Walker, Sienkiewicz, McKenzie, Davis, and Birdie. And Humphries completing out across the 40 to Tony Martin. And that's good for 14, only the second catch of the day by Tony Martin, countered by the free safety Willie Clay.
A lot of the questions coming into the game for the defense was really, can Hitchcock handle things on the outside matched up with Tony Martin? And, you know, they're zoning as in that case, and I'd say yes. How will they execute the defense of Pete Carroll? I'd say excellent so far.
And it's Brown. Straight ahead move by Brown. Eric Metcalf, incidentally, with a rare appearance in the slot out to the right side. Well, coming up 7 o'clock Eastern tonight here on NBC on Dateline for all the latest details concerning the tragic death of Princess Diana. Tune into Dateline. That'll be immediately following Game 2 of our doubleheader on most of these NBC stations. 2nd down and 6, and Brown tries the right side, getting close to that 1st down marker. Bruschi able to make that slicing tackle. Brown 7 carries, 23 yards.
And the late scratch of Willie McGinnis from the defensive standpoint really adds to the playing time of a Teddy Bruschi. Teddy Bruschi's getting an opportunity to play some football now at defensive end. A defensive end in college, very much undersized, had to make the change to linebacker. Great pass rusher coming off the corner using the edge.
3rd and 1. And the Chargers do have the 1st down. Spotted on the forward progress, Brian Still, 2nd-year man from Virginia Tech. Guy with terrific speed, but last year seemed to struggle with the offense.
Well, he really did. I think a lot of people on that team struggled in general with the Chargers. It wasn't so much an execution problem with the Chargers last year. It really melted down at the end of the year to really a bunch of bad attitudes.
And a 1st down at the 44. One-handed catch. What a play for the touchdown. Freddie Jones, the rookie from North Carolina, with the play of the day, a 44-yard touchdown pass play.
Talk about a great way to come into the NFL. He's had catches in the preseason, led the team in receptions, but the first catch you have in the NFL in a regular season game is for a touchdown for this young man. And this is the kind of guy, we talked about the tools of a coach. Jones, look at the size of this guy, the speed of him, what he can do. That's what Humphries needs, the threat in the middle.
Freddie Jones goes 6'4", 260 pounds. This is John Carney. Freddie Jones, 2nd-round draft pick, San Diego's 1st selection overall in the draft out of North Carolina. Freddie Jones with the touchdown to put the Chargers on the board. John Carney, native of nearby Hartford, Connecticut, getting set to kick it away to Dave Megan and Derek Cullors. San Diego Chargers off that beautiful catch by the rookie Freddie Jones, his 1st NFL reception. Getting on the scoreboard, it's now 31-7. New England as Megan returns. And a good one. Flag comes flying. Aaron Craver made the stop. And you can see the holding call.
Holding, number 25, on a return, team on a run back. That's a 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
So the call on Larry Wickham. Special teams standout for the Patriots. And a timeout is taken. So certainly enjoys playing against the San Diego Chargers. Look at this, the last 6 quarters. That goes back to that 45-7 win last December.
These are the best of times. This is as good as it gets for this Patriots team, and for Drew Bledsoe in particular. He's not being harassed. They're not coming after him. And this is exactly how he wanted to start.
He has thrown 4 touchdowns today. That's the 5th time in his career that he's thrown 4 in a game. And Vincent Frisbee getting back into the offense. His 2nd catch. It's a pickup of 15 for the first down. Govea and Shaw combined to make the stop. It looks like Terrence Shaw is shaken up.
And there's not much back off right now in the Patriots offense. It's not like they're coming out and pounding the ball a little bit and trying to take time off this clock. Bledsoe comes right out and puts it right back in the air.
Terrence Shaw in his 3rd season out of Stephen F. Austin, 2nd round pick back in '95. We'll be right back. Well, just a moment ago, Terrence Shaw shaken up, and they are still checking him out. And this has been a team that has been hard hit by injury to key players.
And three pretty serious injuries for the 3 guys that aren't here today, with Reuben Davis out for the year with the Achilles. Junior Seau, huge him not being here, and slated earlier as a starting fullback, Carwell Gardner. But, you know, this has been a training camp and an early season for this coaching staff for the San Diego Chargers of, yeah, but, you know, we don't have so-and-so. Yeah, but we got to put it in anyway. And they've had to do that, and they've had to sort of do a lot of assuming along the way that the guys that they have to play know everything. It's a difficult situation for Kevin Gilbride and his coaching staff.
That's what defensive coordinator Joe Pascal was telling us yesterday concerning all of the injuries. He says he tells his guys no one cares about our problems. No one cares. Just have to get it done.
That's Joe Pascal right there. I mean, he's absolutely right. I mean, it's them against the world. And they're going to find that out tomorrow morning when they wake up and see their local newspaper. I mean, their kids, their wives, their dogs, and the people on their team are the ones going to be behind them the whole way.
You know, I never quite thought of it like that. The dogs.
Well, the dog, too. You feed them.
All right, Bledsoe off the roll. Crowd looking for a hit out of bounds, but no call on Rodney Harrison. Key injuries early. Reuben Davis, the outstanding defensive lineman, out for the season with a ruptured Achilles tendon. The bad news actually began before the first day of training camp as Eric Pegram failed his physical, then underwent surgery for torn cartilage in his left knee. That's Mark Montroy, who's come on for Terrence Shaw. 2nd down and 10 at the 35. 4.5 gone by in the 3rd quarter. Curtis Martin tried to dance his way through that hole. And a short pickup. He was met by Lou Bush.
That was good, hard, aggressive defense there. I mean, there's no dancing or squirming around. Bush and company, also Kurt Govea, just met that play right in the hole. It's a kind of emotion and spark we didn't see much of in the first half from the Chargers defense.
And we're told that Dave Woolabaugh and Terry Glenn will sit out rest of the way with ankle injuries. Woolabaugh had been bothered by an ankle the last couple of preseason games. Apparently Pete Carroll not taking chances, so he has Mike Giesler in as the center. That is incomplete. Frisbee not able to hold on. Took the hit from Montroy. There is Giesler in his 5th year out of Houston. I would think this might be precautionary with the big lead.
Well, yeah, I would think that's got something to do with it, but I'll tell you what, you know, Stan Humphries and his offense went down the field last time, scored a touchdown. You're going to see all full guns ablazing here from San Diego. They score again. Pete Carroll and company best not relax too soon.
2nd punt of the day for Tom Tupa. Metcalf back at his 17. And Tupa with the line drive. Metcalf across the 25, and he slipped and went down. 43-yard punt and a 7-yard return. 9:38 left in the 3rd. The San Diego Chargers will start out from their 28-yard line on their last possession. Stan Humphries able to connect with the rookie Freddie Jones, his first NFL reception for a touchdown. Patriots 31 and the Chargers 7. The short drop by Humphries, and he throws over the head of Martin. And Humphries upset with himself.
Look at those good Dallas, 24-0.
Miami over Indianapolis, 13-7. Check the ticker. Giants at home leading the Eagles.
Dave Brown's thrown for a touchdown and ran for a touchdown, dispelling a few ghosts.
Oilers in front of the Raiders. Arizona well in front of Cincinnati. Brown. Gary Brown again held in check. Ted Johnson. Bobby Ross, former head coach of the Chargers, now head man at Detroit.
Well, they really need to be careful, the Chargers do, especially up front with this offensive line, because this defense of New England is going to start coming off the corners. They got Bruschi on one side, they'll have Slade on the other, maybe Jones, and they're going to come off the edges trying to get to Humphries.
And with this big lead, you can certainly do what you want in that department. Humphries fires. What a pass. And again, it's Jones with the catch in front of Ted Johnson.
Well, there's no lacking for size as far as targets go. I mean, look at the pipes on that guy. He's got the big old arms. He's a big body, a big target, and he proved on that one catch for the touchdown, his first catch as a pro, that he can move the old feet along pretty good, too.
But on that reception, short of the first down by a yard, and the punting team checks in. Darren Bennett, who out of all the, well, aside from Freddie Jones, has really had the best day. He just did get it out. Got it away, Meggett, scooping it up. And runs it out across the 35-yard line. 40-yard punt, 6-yard return. Montroy able to get Meggett out of bounds. Performance for Drew Bledsoe, 20 of 26, 4 touchdown passes. Patriots scoring on 5 of their first 6 possessions. And lead the Chargers 31-7. Back to the offense. Martin with the change of direction. So Curtis Martin cutting left and then right and run out by the free safety Michael Dumas. The NFL's Kickoff 97 weekend extends to the World Wide Web on NFL.com, the league's official website. You can visit NFL.com for all of the scores and stats, including a complete roundup of this weekend's scores and all the action, plus chat live with some of the NFL's biggest stars, all on NFL.com. 7.5 left, third quarter. 2nd down and 6. And Martin found the hole and then had it closed by the strong safety, Rodney Harrison. Harrison, one of the harder hitters in the league, and the word is he has been playing smarter, disciplined football, not as overly aggressive, Randy, as he had been in the past.
Well, last year he was kind of a fine waiting to happen. I mean, he just would go out of his way to be overly aggressive. He's playing much smarter from a scheme standpoint. It's just a matter of maturing. I mean, everybody wants to be known as a hitter when you're a defensive guy. It's just not that kind of hitting.
3rd and 2. Giesler at center, taking over for Dave Willebach. And the jump pass completed for the first down. Troy Brown, very much a part of the offense. That's his 3rd reception. Tackled by Mark Montroy, but New England has a first down at midfield.
When you execute like this, almost a looseness comes about the whole team. You see the way Drew Bledsoe took his drops and just sort of a hop back and made the pass. I mean, there's such a casualness that makes it all look so easy. It is not this easy. It is that easy against the Chargers today at times, but to do this, execute at that pace you see from Bledsoe, that completion percentage for touchdowns, ain't easy.
And on first down off the play action, Bledsoe to the other side, and this time it got away. Had Sean Jefferson wide open.
Little too casual on that one, because Jefferson was wide open right over in that hole of the defense. Like I just said, it's not always as easy as it looks. It's that way a lot in the film section. You'll be in a film session, the coach will go, hey, just drop it in a hole. You hear that all the times from coaches that sit up in the booth, everything unfolds. They're screaming down, why didn't he see that? Pete Carroll realizes that being a coach that's usually on the field, it's a whole different picture with those bodies humming after you downstairs.
Second down and 10. Back to the ground, and Martin is hit for a loss. Curtis Martin, a Pro Bowl player, his first 2 years, scored 32 touchdowns in his 32 NFL games. That is a pace exceeded only by Jim Brown and Emmitt Smith. Last year ran for 14 touchdowns, leading the AFC in rushing scores. Led the AFC also overall with 17 touchdowns.
Third and long, something they haven't seen very much with New England there.
Third and about 10, and again the movement and penalty markers.
False start. Number 84 on the offense. He's moving prior to the ball being snapped. That's a 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
And that was Sean Jefferson called on the penalty.
And nothing makes you madder as an offensive lineman is when a defensive tackle or a linebacker comes sprinting along the line of scrimmage like that and either gets into the neutral zone or hits you, and it's all because some little wide receiver out there couldn't hold his proverbial water, stay still, and wait till the ball was snapped.
I detect some scorn, some little wide receiver.
I use that term skill position lightly.
And that was almost picked off. Bledsoe throwing into a crowd looking for Coates, and Bush in front nearly at the intercept.
Well, you remember I said it's not as easy as it looks. Well, as Lewis Bush gets up a little slowly, it's not really that easy to knock a ball down with your chest. You assume it's just a simple thing. It's easy to do, but you watch Lewis Bush here. You've got to position it right to knock it down with your chest.
And yes, he's saying, I was fortunate that was not picked off. Zephyrus Moss, the right tackle, is down, but now back on his feet. Free agent pickup from Detroit. Here's it from the crowd. He played for line coach Paul Boudreau with the Lions in Detroit. 6'6", 325 pounds. His 9th season out of Alabama State.
325?
Well, that's what it says here.
He's a few cheeseburgers over 325.
And now Tom Tupa comes on for the third time this afternoon. Eric Metcalf is back as we come up on 5 minutes left in the third. And a beauty. But it carried in a 56-yard punt. He's trying to angle it out, and they'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. Well, coming up next on most of these NBC stations, Game 2 of our doubleheader. Most of you will see John Elway and the Denver Broncos go up against the Kansas City Chiefs. Others will see the Seattle Seahawks going up against Bill Parcells and the New York Jets, or the Jacksonville Jaguars play the Ravens of Baltimore. Check your local listings for the game in your area.
Well, you know, New England's done their part as a team that defended or represented the AFC in the Super Bowl last year. Everybody in the AFC is looking at Denver. What can Denver do? This is their first chance to stand up and do it.
All right, Humphries able to complete the leaping catch made by Still. It was stopped by Law. Second catch by Still.
Talked about that coming off the edges. There's Mike Jones coming off the edge. And once again, Stan Humphries ends up on his posterior watching the ball go out.
What a game for Mike Jones. Getting the additional playing time. Chris Sullivan in the starting lineup for the first time in his NFL career, well, with Willie McGinnis down. But Mike Jones has played a good portion and has 2 sacks and has put the pressure on. Fletcher has a first down. Terrell Fletcher, excellent pass receiver out of the backfield. Taken down by the middle linebacker Ted Johnson. And a flag was thrown.
And what we're seeing, too, from the defense of the Patriots is a pretty steady diet of nickel and dime packages. That's why you're seeing Jones on one side and Slade on the other side at end.
And the face mask against New England.
5-yard face mask, number 24 on the defense. They'll add 5 yards to the end of the run. First down.
And the 5-yard face mask is the face mask of just sort of incidental contact with the face mask right there. It looks a little more than incidental.
Yes.
Looked like he was trying to throw him to the ground with it, which would have been a 15-yard penalty if they read it that way.
He was saying, incidentally, I am holding your face mask. A first down at the 37, and again, you see the flags.
False start. Number 77 on the offense, moving prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
That's the right guard, Isaac Davis.
Right, when you're an offensive lineman and you're in this position for an offense like Kevin Gilbride, and you're sort of being teed off on, it's a real natural tendency to want to tee off on somebody else when you get a chance to run a running play. And that's exactly what looked like happened to Isaac Davis. He wanted to go smack something.
357 yards for New England. Almost intercepted on the deflection. Chris Canty got a piece of it. Canty, the rookie from Kansas State. There he is, number 26, first-round draft pick. Randy, I think teammates would describe Chris as a very confident player. Some say may have a little Deion Sanders in him.
Well, you know, actually, if it wasn't for Steve Israel, who they brought in here this year as a free agent, being banged up, he would not be a nickel defensive back and playing in this game. They're going to slowly bring this young man along when they can.
Second and 15. The deep drop by Humphries. And he's taken down, has to protect the football. Chris Slade made the stop on Stan Humphries, who has been under attack right from the start.
Well, this wasn't so much, Marv, the pass rush as it is really a limited amount of receivers out to catch a pass. Nobody open. He's got to step up. He's got nowhere to go. And like we mentioned about Bledsoe and Stan earlier, they're not a real threat to get away from the defensive lineman too fast.
So a third and 15. And Humphries pass incomplete. Tony Martin could not hold on. Humphries tried to lead him. Willie Clay on the coverage. Good pressure from Mark Wheeler. And once again, Darren Bennett into punt.
Not a good sign when you're raving about the job your punter does, much less when he gets an opportunity to kick more than a half a dozen times.
That is Megan back. And Megan took it at the 20-yard line. Down at the 27, a 43-yard punt, 8-yard return. Paul Bradford back up the corner on the stop. Next Saturday, 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Notre Dame football back here on NBC. The Fighting Irish going up against Georgia Tech in the season opener. A new era of Golden Dome football will get underway. Notre Dame football next Saturday, 2:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on NBC. We're just under 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. Patriots in a first-half blowout. They were up 31-0 at the half. 4 touchdown passes thrown by Bledsoe, which equals his career record. Nearly had that one picked off. Getting a little sloppy, though, here in the third quarter.
Well, it is, and mainly in that play was due to the job that Marco Coleman did rushing the passer when you got an opportunity to have a running back like Curtis Martin trying to block you. He just walked him right back into Bledsoe's arm.
And there is Marco Coleman, San Diego's premier free agent acquisition last year, slowed by a pinched nerve.
Has not been the pass rusher. Sorry, Mar, the pass rusher that they really need. He has not produced that for the Chargers.
There's Byers in motion. 2nd and 10. And Bledsoe with a pass for the first down. Sean Jefferson. stop by Mark Montroy, and a first down for New England. New England Patriots, a team that has returned 19 of 22 starters from last year's Super Bowl club, but 8 draft picks, a high number, made the club, including 2 of the picks received in compensation for the controversial departure of Parcells.
Right. That doesn't look right. Compensation for a coach somehow doesn't sit very good. But I'll tell you one thing, those 2 draft picks were staying. They were not cutting those guys.
Curtis Martin on the carry.
And Curtis Martin got the call. We did notice on our way here to Foxborough, very enterprising group of people lined up selling some unusual unusual T-shirts. Grill the Tuna T-shirt.
Well, I saw grill, I saw can the tuna. You can't speak about a few of them that made the fronts of these shirts, but they had tuna in them there. Yes.
Just their way of showing their endearment for the one-time head coach of the New England Patriots. These 2 Patriots will meet the Jets in 2 weeks. Head coach Pete Carroll, who has taken over for Bill Parcells, certainly enjoying his first game as head man of the New England Patriots. And you look at the Patriots and the Chargers, these 2 clubs represented the AFC in 2 of the last 3 Super Bowls. In January, the Packers, sparked by game MVP Desmond Howard, defeated Bill Parcells' Patriots by 2 touchdowns. And 2 years earlier, a 44-yard strike from Steve Young to Jerry Rice just a minute 24 into the game began the rout as the 49ers beat the Chargers 49-26. And here's how today's quarterbacks fared in the Super Bowl. Those stats nearly identical.
But those second place rings don't look too dissimilar either.
2nd down and 7. Troy Brown made the catch. Lou Bush with the stop.
Yeah, what a contrast to new coaches taking over situations. Kevin Gilbride with the Chargers taking over a team that's been in a recent Super Bowl, but he's in a rebuilding mode. Pete Carroll, on the other hand, is in a situation where what they need to do with New England is just get better. It's what a lot of teams ignore and don't do after a Super Bowl. You've got to keep getting better. Don't stand pat. Drew Bledsoe and this offense today have gotten better off of last year.
It's a 3rd down and 4. Bledsoe with the time. And let's see where they spotted. Jefferson made the catch. Dumas with the stop, and they do mark it as a first down. So Sean Jefferson, the one-time San Diego Charger, with his 4th catch of the day. As this 3rd quarter rolls down. And the Patriots letting the quarter run down. That'll be 3 complete. Patriots up 31-7. Will return after these words from your local station. On to the 4th quarter here in Foxborough. Capacity crowd better than 60,000 on a beautiful 80-degree day. And for the Patriots, a 31-7 lead. The deep drop by Bledsoe, and he fires the home run ball intended for Troy Brown. Looking for number 5. Brown in a foot race with Montroy.
You know, Bledsoe has the ability to throw this ball very similar to the way Jeff Blake in Cincinnati can throw those rainbow shots. Except the main difference is Bledsoe's ball seems to hang. It almost doesn't come down nose first. It comes down body first, so it floats a little bit unless the receiver get further out there.
And they are looking to that matchup of Brown against Montroy. Montroy came on for Terrence Shaw, who suffered a lacerated chin. Montroy, primarily a special teams player, has been also going as a nickelback. Curtis Martin. It's inside the 45, the strong safety, Rodney Harrison. made the stop.
You know, offensive players know exactly what's at stake right here for them. They need to deliver a knockout punch. They need to come out here, hold on to the ball, and score points. What do they get for that besides 6 more points? They get to leave the game.
Yes.
They know that. If they do it, I mean, that's, you wonder about players' motivations at times. That is the offensive players' motivations on this drive.
Randy, speak for yourself now. It is a 3rd and 3. Nice catch. Vincent Frisbee off a curl in front of Montroy. And a first down.
And just, this is an example, too. We talked earlier about Bledsoe being able to stand in the pocket, the old stand and deliver. Here's the stand part. There's the deliver. No movement from the defensive line, no pressure from the line, and he's able to pick out a number to throw to. When I say a number to throw to, he's going to put that ball on the 8 or the 2 of Brisbee's 82.
First down of the 31. Martin on the draw. A reminder, 7 o'clock Eastern tonight, right here on NBC on Dateline. All the latest details concerning the death of Princess Diana. That'll be Dateline tonight. Come up immediately following game 2 of our doubleheader on most of these NBC stations.
Nothing. Miami 10, Indianapolis 7.
Sean Lee is hurt, and they're checking him out. The Chargers' right defensive tackle. Veteran out of North Alabama in his 10th NFL season. We'll take a timeout. Back after this. We welcome you back to Foxborough. 10th play of the drive for the Patriots. 2nd down and 9. And Bledsoe floating it. Intended for Troy Brown, who's been a favorite receiver. Patrick Sapp on the coverage. And a look at the Miller Lite game summary. Drew Bledsoe with 4 touchdowns thrown in the first half. Patriots have done it in the red zone, as you can see. Stan Humphries with a shaky performance, as we have mentioned, not getting much help from that offensive line. 12 of 25, 131 yards, sacked 3 times. 2 of the sacks by Mike Jones. 3rd down and 9. 2 minutes gone by in the 4th. And Bledsoe throwing off the back foot, as he will do from time to time. And that was a timing pattern intended for Brisbee, but a penalty flag is down.
It's going to be a personal foul against the Chargers defense, hitting Drew Bledsoe, I believe.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 95 on the defense. That's a 15-yard penalty, first down.
That's William Fuller, the free agent acquisition from Philadelphia this year. Bottom of the screen, number 95. Right there. Ball was well gone, and he just sort of put a little oomph into him. You saw Drew Bledsoe give it up with that, how dare you do that, sort of look on his face.
A late elbow by Fuller. William Fuller, a question mark today because of the sprained right knee. It is a first down at the 15-yard line, and Martin tried to accelerate, got a jump on it, but stopped by Norman Hand, who is a recent addition to the Charger squad, claimed on waivers from Miami earlier this week.
Well, they had to get a Norman Hand in there as far as Kevin Gilbride and Pascal, their defensive coordinator, were concerned, is just because they didn't needed a veteran, needed somebody that actually been in an NFL game in the backup position at tackle.
2nd and 9 with 12:25 remaining in the 4th quarter. And the Patriots with a 31-7 lead, all 31 points in the first half. The Patriots would love to see Curtis Martin maintain that steady touchdown pace. Curtis Martin with 32 touchdowns in his 32 NFL games, but has not scored here this afternoon.
You know, what he meant late in last year, he missed, was that guy 33, Sam Gash, the fullback. See that lead block right there on Lewis Bush from 33, Gash? That's what they need, and that is why Gash wears that neck roll, that white thing around his neck from slamming linebackers.
It is a 3rd down and 9. Brown in motion. Off the roll, Bledsoe. Looking end zone, throwing. Incomplete, intended for Troy Brown. And again a flag.
There is a flag down on the field.
When you get flow crisscrossing like that, it's usually some form of illegal man downfield. Don't know why an offensive lineman for New England would go downfield, and Pete Carroll has to wonder, because it's not like Drew's going to run the ball.
Ineligible member of the offense downfield. The penalty is declined. 4th down.
So the Patriots call for their 5th penalty. San Diego hit with 6. 4th and 9, and it brings on Adam Vinatieri. This 25-yard attempt. Vinatieri hit from 21 earlier.
Kicks away.
It is good. And it's officially called a 26-yard field goal. Patriots 34, Chargers 7. Back in Foxborough, Marv Albert with Randy Cross. 11:27 remaining, 4th quarter. And the Patriots now lead 34-7 over the Chargers. Eric Metcalf with the kick return. And brings across the 25-yard line. Chris Carter on the stop, 23-yard return. With this game apparently well in hand, very shortly we will be switching a portion of our viewers to another game in the AFC East. So the Chargers first down at the 27-yard line. Obvious disappointing opening day for San Diego. An injury hit San Diego Charger team, but a Charger team that comes off a disappointing season. Broken up by Bruschi, who hears it from the crowd. Oh, the crowd here loves Teddy Bruschi. 3rd-round pick last year out of Arizona. Led the team in tackles in preseason. A very popular player. In limited action, had 4 sacks last season, and a major contributor on special teams.
You saw what Pete Carroll did to him going off the field at halftime. After that play, I'm sure he'll smack him around when he gets to the sideline again.
Harry Brown with his best run of the day, reaching across. The 35, Ted Johnson, middle linebacker, on the stop. Only 33 yards on 8 carries for Brown.
You know, coming into this game for the Chargers, new coaches, new coaching staff, injuries. They had to hope they caught New England in a Super Bowl hangover type situation. You know, they've been successful. They have a new coach. Maybe they won't be concentrating. Maybe they won't play for Pete Carroll. Well, survey says wrong.
3rd and 2. Oh, and Humphries had the ball knocked away. It's still loose. And the indication recovered by the Chargers that Humphrey is hurt. Stan Humphries is down.
He had the better part of that pile land right on top of him.
Stan Humphries, who was clobbered in the game against New England last December, forced out by a concussion, a 45-7 win by New England. He's taken a pounding again here today. 4th sack of the day on Humphries.
They're working on that left shoulder, Marv. Yeah, what you have to look for is as he goes down to the ground, what happens to Humphries. See, that left hand went down. He decided to crawl, and when he did, he gets landed right on top of. I mean, this guy has absorbed about a month's worth of beating in this one football game, and you put it on top of the fact that he's absorbed about 2 months worth of beating in the preseason. I mean, it's all got to pile up on this quarterback.
Mark Wheeler will get credit for the sack, so it's number 4 for the Patriots, 2 for Mike Jones, 1 for Henry Thomas, and now the sack by Wheeler. Even Drew Bledsoe came out to give a tap of encouragement to Stan Humphries, who is hearing the polite applause from the crowd. This crowd.
Well, no one likes to see a quarterback get beat up like that, especially another quarterback. And Jim Everett, the backup quarterback acquired this year, is warming up to come in for Stan Humphries next time they get the ball. But hey, this is what the new defenses are about, Marv. They're not about anything other than trying to attack the quarterback.
And now Bennett punting for the 7th time. Meggett back behind his 30. Good block to unleash Meggett, who was able to run it out of bounds at the 42, a 60-yard punt and a 14-yard return. Well, Randy, the word on Stan Humphries, he suffered a dislocated left shoulder.
And they're taking him into the Pat side of the locker room, no doubt, to get some pictures of that shoulder.
So New England from their 41-yard line, and Dave Meggett getting the call. That's his first carry.
That's the play where Stan Humphries was hurt, and if that looks at all familiar after you see the NFL shield, you're about to see something that will look fairly similar in that Humphries against the Raiders does the same thing, dislocates his shoulder.
He missed 3 games last season. Was knocked out of 2 others. Week 8 against Oakland, as you just saw. He suffered that dislocated left shoulder, remained out of the lineup following 2 weeks, and that is not a happy rundown for Stan Humphries, who a moment ago left once again with a dislocated left shoulder. Timeout has been called now by the Patriots. You know, things don't get much better for the San Diego Chargers. A very difficult schedule at the start. 5 of the first 7 games for the Chargers will be played on the road, including 3 of the first 4 at New Orleans. A visit to Mike Ditka's new home next Sunday, then home for Carolina. At Seattle, home for Baltimore, at Oakland. They do play 6 of the final 9 at home, but they must get through the early portion in decent shape.
Well, you look at that schedule, too, and I mean, those 2 games, Carolina and Seattle, could be really brutal because they are going to be much improved football teams.
Second down and 8 at the 43. Now Jefferson is flanked out to the left side. Some adjustments by Bledsoe. It's Meggett. Meggett and Gash now in the backfield. Penalty flag has been thrown against New England.
Holding.
60 on the offense. So it is a hold on New England. Patriots with 3 of their first 4 at home. In contrast to San Diego, a favorable schedule next week at Indianapolis. Not that anything is easy. And then a home game against the Jets. Patriots facing their former coach Bill Parcells. Pete Carroll going against his former team. It will be a wild scene here in Foxborough. Then home for Chicago, followed by an open date.
Well, this team has come out like a team that has something to prove, with kind of a chip on its shoulder, and man, they've played like it.
2nd and 18. And the question here, Randy, 8:45 remaining. The game of obviously well in hand, 34-7. How long does Pete Carroll stay with Drew Bledsoe?
I'd say probably another series or so. You know, remember, this is not a 13-year veteran. This is basically a new system that they've brought in here under Pete Carroll, and this is still a lot of preseason type practice work. They want to get some work on certain things, and they're willing to risk the exposure, and it's a pretty good risk right now because he hasn't been touched too much.
The lone deep back is Meggett. And Bledsoe completes. Sean Jefferson has had an outstanding game. Has the first down, and that is his 5th catch of the day.
Hey, you talk about people who have had good games. Meggett lined up as a solo back, has 6 punt returns for 99 yards, almost in triple digits. You've got Glenn Early catching a touchdown. Now you've got Sean Jefferson being worked into the system. So one of those things that Pete Carroll wants to work on here is all the toys. He's got the toys. Now's the time to use them and practice them.
Well, they called for the measurement, and it's just inches shy of the first down. And with 4th down coming up, there are some in the crowd disappointed that the Patriots are not going for it.
Up 34-7, it'd be lightly what you refer to as bad form.
Yeah. And here's Tom Tupa, ready to punt to Eric Metcalf. Chargers are hoping that Junior Seau will be able to return. Did not make the trip. Able to return next week against New Orleans. He is coming back from arthroscopic knee surgery.
Well, when he comes back, if he could bring a couple of the Charger former greats out of the Hall of Fame or somewhere with him, it'd be nice.
Well, they're hoping that the Chargers will jump offside. It's 4th and inches. And still waiting for a jump. Do not get it. And he shanks it. But not a bad kick. And he did down it. No, apparently not. Apparently not. Wiggum thought he had it and was celebrating, but then the official took a long look and said no.
If any part of the ball touches that goal line, they can't let you have it, and just enough did.
For the San Diego Chargers, Jim Everett has come on for the injured Stan Humphries. And San Diego to the ground for Gary Brown for Collins. On the stop, Larry Wiggum, who thought that he had successfully downed it. Here's another look at it.
Yeah, he's not only, you noted, Marvin, the official took a long time, but not only does he step on the line here, but the ball lands in the end zone. So, you know, they got him for the daily double there. It looked like he had a shot, but no.
2nd and 8 with 7:10 left in the 4th. Able to stand in and does complete for the first down, pleading with the rookie Freddie Jones. Let's check in with Greg Gumbel in New York. Freddie Jones.
All right, Marv, big late game happenings in Memphis. Eddie George, a 29-yard run from scrimmage for the go-ahead touchdown. George, 30 carries, 203 yards today. He ran the 2-point conversion in. The Oilers lead it 21-14, approaching 2 minutes to play at the Liberty Bowl. Marv?
All right, thank you, Greg.
They talk about a team that deserves to play in front of people at home. I mean, they've played in front of friends and family, the Oilers have, for the last 3 or 4 years.
And the draw succeeds with Brown getting to the outside and close to the marker. Lawyer Malloy, Chris Canty combining to make the stop. The New England Patriots on their way to making it 9 straight wins against the San Diego Chargers. The last time the Chargers beat the Patriots, they were known as the Boston Patriots back in 1970. And it is a first down for the Chargers.
Well, that's about the same time the Boston Patriots would have gotten that #1 pick so they could choose Jim Plunkett. Give you some perspective on that, I think.
Willie Clay in his 6th year out of Georgia Tech. Last year led New England with 4 interceptions. They call him Big Play Clay.
Well, perfect coordination, Marv, between Everett and Clay there, because Everett threw it and Clay never had to slow down at all. From the time he broke on the ball, he didn't miss a step till he got to the end zone.
Willie Clay returning at 53 yards for the touchdown. And it's now the Patriots 40, the Chargers 7. Patriots waiting for their 11th player to join the fray. Ted Johnson making it out of the field to make it 11 players to line up for the extra point attempt by Adam Vinatieri. So the Patriots extend to 41-7.
Wow, you know, I mentioned the fact of the timing, but working out of the shotgun, Everett is comfortable working out of this shotgun formation. Clay is breaking right now, and look at the way he goes after that pass. I mean, you're talking about a safety sitting back there, playing that deep middle, reading what he wants, and getting exactly what he wants. Watch Clay. That's being a receiver. That's a defensive back just saying, well, that one's mine. And the quarterback has put that thing right where it has. It looks like a beach ball by the time Willie Clay saw it.
And the pass intended for number 81. Tony Martin, you see Clay able to step in front. And a 53-yard return for Clay.
Well, sometime as a backup, you have a chance to see something go bad like this, you can say, they can't yell at me. Well, they can yell at Jim Everett.
All right, it's fielded by Rashall. And he reaches out to the 28-yard line. And another opportunity now for Jim Everett. Jim Everett spent the past 3 years with the New Orleans Saints, following 8 seasons with the LA Rams in his 12th year out of Purdue. And on the slant, Brown across the 30-yard line, tripped up by Bruschi. We're approaching 5 minutes remaining in this 4th quarter. A major first step for Pete Carroll in looking to shake the shadow of Bill Parcells with this convincing 41-7 lead.
Especially the way
San Diego.
Marv, especially the way his players came out. I mean, there were no ifs, ands, or buts. They came out first time they got the ball, bang, 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 touchdown. I mean, they really removed any doubt about any hangover or lack of enthusiasm for Pete Carroll.
Terrell Fletcher, short of the first down. 2 of the new coaches in the NFL this season going head-to-head here in Foxborough. Look at the entire list. Bobby Ross, one-time head man of San Diego, now the head coach of the Detroit Lions.
It says new coaches, but there are very few new coaches on that list, much to the chagrin of a lot of assistant coaches around the league. I believe there's 3 actual first-time coaches.
Otherwise, a shuffle. And Everett this time able to connect over the middle. Charlie Jones run out by Jimmy Hitchcock. 24-yard advance for Jones, the second-year man out of pass-happy Fresno State, 4th-round pick last season. And it is a first down at the 38-yard line, and it's like we have seen the last of Drew Bledsoe. Scott Zolak with the football and been tossing it around.
When you see him without the baseball hat on and a helmet, then you believe it.
All right, Everett able to dump it off again. He has the big tight end, Jones. A flag is thrown as Jones gets inside the 30, short of a first down. Clay tripped him up.
Yeah, he got a receiver downfield quite a ways. I think he had a couple guys out in front of Jones when he caught that ball. It's good to have enthusiasm to get out in front of a screen, but timing is a little important too.
Ineligible receiver downfield on the offense, number 63.
Well, that is the center, Raleigh McKenzie.
Well, that figures out to a fairly healthy quarterback rating in the first season, and the first game at least. And there's Raleigh McKenzie downfield. Line of scrimmage a good 5-6 yards behind where that ball is thrown.
So a 1st and 15 at the 43. And Everett going sideline. Jones the catch. Canty able to bang him out of bounds. 2nd down and 3. Yeah, this is Brown. Brown able to reverse, but actually lost a yard on the play. Clay and Wiggin combined to make the stop.
And when you design a play to be quick hitting, the whole idea is the quick hitting part shouldn't be on your running back. And in that play, the quickest thing to get hit was Gary Brown. That hole closed up completely.
This game has taken on the look of what took place last December between these two clubs when the final was 45-7. It's 41-7. So it's right alongside last year as one of the worst losses in the history of this club. Once again, Jones tried a one-handed. He made that one-handed catch earlier for the touchdown on his first NFL reception.
Now, he used up his quota. Nobody told him yet. You've got to find a way, somehow, some way, to spin around and get that other mid on that ball.
I know it's not pleasant news for fans of the San Diego Chargers, but their worst defeat ever was 49-6. That loss taking place back in 1964 to the Kansas City Chiefs. So that is actually in range with 2:22 remaining. Everett completing. Well, Freddie Jones has been a bright spot here today.
Well, really, as much blitz and as much attack as these Chargers are going to see for the rest of this season, especially from Carolina and from Seattle, they need the weapon in the middle of the field to protect Stan Humphries. Jones is a great ad. Well, the continued ugliness of this game. First time the Chargers have been in the red zone today, and they've pretty much pitched tents from the New England standpoint in the red zone.
This is a game that saw New England take a 31-0 lead at halftime. Drew Bledsoe throwing 4 touchdown passes for the 5th time in his NFL career. And then San Diego got on the board on a 44-yard touchdown pass, Humphries to the rookie Freddie Jones. Vinatieri kicked a 26-yard field goal, a second field goal of the game to make it 34-7. Willie Clay moments ago with an interception of Jim Everett and returned it for a 53-yard touchdown. And Everett had his, looked like someone got a piece of the hand as he tried to throw that pass.
You know, Bledsoe made the comment in the pregame show in an interview with Jim Gray about, you know, well, quarterbacks and coaches get too much of the credit and too much of the blame, and he'll get a little bit too much of the credit for this great victory after this game. It's hard to pick out a person. Meggett there standing next to him had a great game. The defense played excellent. All the special teams. I mean, this was a solid all-around opener. As good an all-around opener as any, you know, longtime coach, much less first game coach like Pete Carroll in this organization could ask for.
All right, Everett completing to Fletcher. Marty Moore on the stop. So the final stats on Drew Bledsoe: 26 for 39, 340 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. A sensational start for Bledsoe, a guy who last year easily had the most productive season of his NFL career, breakthrough season. Now to 1:20 remaining in this 4th quarter. Off the draw, Fletcher looking for the first down. Stopped by Moore. Stan Humphries went out with the dislocated shoulder, so the San Diego Chargers, looking ahead to next week at New Orleans, may have the one-time New Orleans Saint Jim Everett as their starting quarterback against his former team.
And a very important person on that team starting next week will be Craig Wheelahan, the backup to the backup. The third-team quarterback now moves into number 2, and if Everett doesn't get better protection, he'll get a chance to play late in that game.
It is a 1st and goal at the 8. Everett's pass incomplete. Intended for Freddie Jones. Larry Wiggum got a piece of it with 41 seconds remaining in the game. New England next week playing the Colts in Indianapolis. And then the early season meeting against Bill Parcells and the New York Jets. It's just going to be an amazing scene here in Foxborough. And also, can you imagine leading up that week to that game?
But I'll tell you what, Marv, from a talent standpoint, it is a total mismatch if this Patriots team can play like this. Bill Parcells has improved the Jets, but he hadn't improved them this much. This is a juggernaut off the first game.
Not only that, how about the motivation? There are several players here who are not great fans of Bill Parcells. I don't know if Parcells can get the message to the Jets if the game is as significant to them as it will be to Patriot players.
Or much less the Patriots fans that'll be here. Warmth and love aren't the first things that jump to mind as to what he's remembered for down here by a lot of people.
But in Parcells' thinking, long range, he feels there will be other meetings down the road. And you can be sure he'll try to play it that way, that, well, yes, of course, he'd like to win, but there will be other significant games coming on. That'll be just game number 3 of the early season. 33 seconds remaining on a glorious day for the New England Patriots as the Pete Carroll regime has opened in grand style. Everett fires for the end zone. And we're down to 27 seconds to go.
And Jim Everett ended up in a very familiar position for a Chargers quarterback we've seen so far, and that's down on the ground, checking his body parts and getting up very, very slowly.
The numbers for Everett: 6 of 11, 65 yards, picked off once for the touchdown by Clay. So a 4th and goal from the 10. And Everett's pass incomplete, intended for Tony Martin, who has not been able to get anything going at all here this afternoon.
And Scott Zolak gets to come in for Drew Bledsoe. These are the kind of plays when you're in high school and college. The guys that go in now, the guys that go on to go in so they can get plays because they can letter. You can say you played in the game, the quarterback's going to kneel down, but then you get a letter.
I don't think Scott will be looking for the letter here after today's game. Back to the subject of Tony Martin, only 2 catches, 19 yards.
And very few opportunities. A couple of early, one out of bounds, one long, but after that, Hitchcock and Law and Canty and the defensive backfield shut him down, thanks to a lot of pressure from the guys up front.
So the Patriots just run out the clock as they have defeated the San Diego Chargers 41-7. Drew Bledsoe, 26 for 39, 340 yards, 4 touchdowns, was not intercepted. The 5th time that he has thrown for 4 touchdowns in a single game. The previous occurrence against San Diego, that was last December 1st. The New England Patriots able to pound the San Diego Chargers. Bledsoe with touchdown passes to Coates, to Glenn, to Gash, to Bob.